Let's do this. Hey, I'm Jero Serrano and I develop game engines. I love to do this. This is my hobby, and I'm here to share with you what I've been working on for the past 3 weeks. So, if you recall, I'm developing the first game using the game engine that I developed, the Untold Engine. I'm very happy with it. However, I need to make it better, and I've been thinking of some graphical effects to add to the game, and some of the ideas that I want to implement come from the game Doom. Essentially because I love that game. The ideas for the graphical effects are the following. I want to implement the asset that you see in the barrels of the game. Number 2, I also want to implement the lake. And number 3, I want to implement the edge detection shaders that you see in the game Doom from 2016. I really love that effect, so I want to implement that. However, I have a confession to make, guys. When it comes to shaders, I'm not really good at it. Yes, I do know how shaders work, or else I couldn't have developed a game engine. I'm talking more about being creative with shaders. I really do not have that talent to come out with some amazing, cool looking shaders, just like the ones that you see on Shader Toy. I have always wondered how people know which equation to use, and which functions to apply to, and all those effects that people come up with on Shader Toy. It's amazing. So on Friday night, like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, I decided to put a stop to that lack of knowledge. So I decided to lock myself in my room for a whole weekend and literally just focus on understanding how to be creative with shaders. So I went to the website, thebookofshaders.com, which I strongly recommend you to go. I also bought some books on shaders, and I literally just read and practiced and played around with shaders the whole weekend. And by Sunday evening, I was able to duplicate some of these shaders, just like the ones that you see on the screen right now. So let me explain to you what they are, right? So the first one is going to represent the lake that I mentioned before. The second shader that you see here is going to represent the asset that you see in the barrels. And the third one is going to represent the edge detection shader. So by Monday morning, I was able to apply all of these shaders to actual 3D objects, just like what you see right here. I'm actually very happy that I was able to create all this. And there's something I want to share with you, because probably you are also like me, trying to figure out how people are able to come up with these graphical effects, or how, why do people use this equation and not the other. Well, something that helped me, and this happened by pure accident, when I was trying to understand the sine wave when you use shaders. I was looking at a sine wave, and by pure accident, I rotated the axis so I can look at the sine wave from the Y direction. And when I did that, I was able to see the same shape that I would see when I would use a shader editor. Like the same shape of the sine wave showed up on the shader editor. And that, somehow clicked, and I understood that a nice way to understand shaders is to not look at the function from, from the Z direction, but look at it from the Y direction, because when you do that, you are really going to see the shape that is going to take form in the shader. And once I did that, I was able to play around with shaders, manipulate, the function, add a little bit of noise, add a bit of, randomness to it. And I was able to, everything made a lot of sense. So a tip for you that may help you is when you are looking at a function that you want to apply to a shader, don't look at it from the side, but look at it from the top. It may help you, who knows. Alright, so the second thing that I worked on was on improving the particle system. I was not really too happy with it, so I decided to put some work on it. for a whole week and a half, and I'm kind of happy with how it looks now. The main thing is that I no longer have to write out the parameters for the particles. Instead, I wrote a small importer using the library TinyXML, which will literally just import the data from like a particle designer application, and it will import all of that data, the parameters, into the game engine. So I no longer have to type out the parameters. That was getting too annoying. So I'm very happy with that. And so that's all what I did, guys. I worked on shaders. I improved the particle system. That took quite some work. It wasn't like tough work. It was more like tedious work that I had to do, especially with the particle system and the importer. But overall, I'm very happy with what I've done, and I'm hoping that I'm going to apply the shaders and the particle system to the game. Alright, now the third thing that happened to me, which I was actually kind of happy, is that I got accepted to the GitHub Sponsors Program. If you do not know what that is, it's basically this new initiative from GitHub, which allows viewers, people like you, developers, anyone to sponsor open source projects of your liking. So you can just literally go sponsor whatever open source project that you like. And I got an invitation for it. I applied, and I was so surprised that it took less than 24 hours and for my application to get accepted. So I got accepted. So now if you want to sponsor the Untold Engine open source project, I will be very thankful, because it's gonna give me the motivation to keep on going and to keep on sharing what I've learned with you. So I'm going to provide the link in the description below, so if you are interested, you can go check it out. It can be $1, $5, $10, whatever you want. It's not about the money, it's more about knowing that there are people out there that also care for the work that I do, and in return I'll give something back to you. So that's what happened this past 3 weeks. Thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you learned something, and thank you so much. Oh yes, by the way, if you haven't subscribed, please do so right now. Click on that notification button so that way you can get notified when I upload a new video. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next time.